My leadership tip today is that if you are a busy entrepreneur, and those things typically go hand in hand, that you should remember to tell your people that having a busy boss is their greatest form of job security. So why do I say that? I was having tea with a friend of mine today, and we often get together and share leadership tips and strategies that work well in each of our firms. And having that type of a sounding board, by the way, I find hugely beneficial as an entrepreneur. So if you don't have a circle like that around you, then that is something that I would encourage you to pull together, because it's very, very useful to be able to bounce around decisions with someone who is outside of your company. But in any case, apparently he has just implemented a project management time tracking tool in his company and was getting pushback from his most senior manager that this would put extra stress on the team. And he encouraged him, I think this was great advice, to think like an owner and not like an employee. So what does that mean? If you're thinking like an owner, it basically means that you're looking at the P&L and the growth of the company that you're in, even if you're not the actual owner yourself, because you're trying to position yourself to get to that next level. So if this particular employee were thinking like an owner, he would recognize that a time tracking budgeting tool would allow them to get their work done on time, on budget, and with higher quality, which would lead to greater client retention, as well as making their target profit margins, which in turn puts more money in the system that can help with compensation and benefits. So that's really the difference with thinking like an owner. And it's interesting because apparently this particular manager was concerned that if the team was getting their work done more quickly, that maybe that might indicate that potentially those positions didn't need to be full-time and that they were actually putting themselves at risk. So he did admit that there were people on the team who had apparently been stretching out their hours a bit to fit whatever the available time was with that in mind, because they were actually concerned. And really the reverse is true. And if any of you busy entrepreneurs out there, you know this to be true, that if one of your team members comes to you and says, hey, I got my work done ahead of schedule, I have capacity, how can I help you? That is music to an entrepreneur's ears. And in all likelihood, you're going to find things that potentially are a little meatier, more substantial, maybe more interesting, that particular employee can help with, just by the fact that they have stepped up to demonstrate that they're willing to take on extra and to go to the next level. So remember, if you are an entrepreneur, to remind your team that just because you're busy, that shouldn't be something that they see as a threat. A busy boss is really the best form of job security.